right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Social Z podcast. I'm your host, Calvin Smith, as usual. I am back in beautiful Destin, Florida today, back in our offices, so not in the RV recording this one. But real excited to speak with someone from Texas. Jessica's joining us from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Jessica, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
Doing great, doing great. Well, we're excited to have you, and so we're going to get going and do some rapid fire questions. So the first one is give us your name, location, and the name of your business.
I'm Jessica Fagin. I'm in Dallas, Texas area. The business itself is in Southlake, and it is a Gymboree play and music location. So we do caregiver child classes, pretty much. So children 6 years and under, and help build up those young children and help their caregivers as well with activities to do for them.
Okay, awesome. That's great. And how long have you been in business, and what does your staff look like there?
So I purchased this site in 2020, and it's been here at this location since about 2006. Gymboree as a whole has been around for almost 46 years now. And as far as my staff goes, I currently have, I want to say about 5-6 people. We're building up. When I first started, there were 2.
That's great. That's great. And tell us a little bit more about what you guys do as a business. So anyone that hasn't heard of your brand before, what are the things that you guys do differently than anyone else? And, who's your target customer?
So our target customer are those people who are taking care of children, obviously. A lot of times it is the parents themselves, the moms, the dads. Sometimes it's the grandparents, it can be the nannies. Sometimes there'll even be an aunt or uncle stepping in. Sometimes it's just somebody who can do it on occasion, weekends or whatever. But officially, we are the number one child development location, or I should say, sorry. We are the number one child development, play, music, and art business. We were among the first. And so one of the things that sets us apart is that we don't force children to participate. We encourage, and we do everything that we can to get them to participate. But if they prefer to go off and play something else versus what we're doing, that's okay. Sometimes maybe we'll follow their lead instead. Let them take it, because learning is really based in play. And the best way for children to learn is through play and having fun. And they're not going to have fun if you're forcing them to do something that they don't want to do. Parents aren't going to have fun doing that either. They have a screaming kid on their hands.
So it looks like you have some pretty cool stuff there behind you. Tell us a little bit about what you have there at your facility. And, if I'm a parent, aunt, uncle, grandparent, what's the interaction like coming to your location there?
Yeah, so one of the great things about our playscape, and this is also something that I would say sets us apart for sure, is it is a proprietary playscape. It is built for Gymboree play and music. Some of our soft pieces, like our airlog, you might see elsewhere, but these you'll only find at Gymboree, and it changes every 3 weeks. So for instance, the way you see this setup behind me now, and this is just a teeny tiny part of it, will be completely different next week after we go through and change it up. That way we're providing new challenges, new curriculum, new ways to explore the space every 3 weeks to go along with the themes that we're doing.
If I'm a prospective customer and, I'm a parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, and I'm planning on bringing, a child there, what's the engagement like? What's the interaction? What's the kind of the customer service model? What's the pricing model to come to your location?
So we have very friendly people here. We love to talk to our customers. We're very passionate about what we do here, so we love to tell you all about it. And so, of course, we're happy to talk to you any way that you prefer. Face-to-face, phone, email, texting, we're there for it. But we love to show you around, show you how our equipment changes, the different ways you can utilize it just by flipping it over. And then we also do parties, so also giving tours of the site and telling you how we would set that all up, and then building a rapport with our customers as well. Getting to know them, getting to know other family members who come with the children, and watching the children grow. That's a great joy too, is seeing how this once little tiny baby is now starting to crawl or walk, and just watching that development. As far as our pricing structure goes, most people do a membership. We do have various tiers of that you can do to come in for classes just a few times to every class that we have, pretty much. And so our lowest tier is $90 a month. Our unlimited right now is $160. Some people only come sporadically, so they'll typically buy a class pack. So you're not set in month to month by any means, but that way you save a little bit of money.
Well, Jessica, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit about, you as a franchisee specifically. What did you do before you bought the franchise in 2020?
Done a lot of things, actually. I spent a lot of years in retail. I actually did do some teaching for a while. And goodness, I'm trying to think of like everything else I've done. Of course, just working with children in general a lot. And then I'm also a mother myself. So that's one of the reasons I decided to get into the business was I enjoy doing it with my own children.
Sure, sure. So do they come to work with you a lot of times? Or are they interacting? Or how does that play into your family life?
Yeah, so definitely they'll come and help out with our set changes. There's a lot of deep cleaning to be done. We clean between all of our classes anyway, and of course, end of the day. But we'll do a deep clean when we're changing out our playscape. So I make them come and help out. And then sometimes maybe they can be here for summer camps or open gym, and they love playing with the little ones, especially my 9-year-old. And people just adore her. The kids love her, and the parents fawn all over how great she is with them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it's good they're able to share that experience with you and spend time with you, kind of at work, if you can call it work, right? What caused you to buy a franchise? Like, what was the decision, and what was the path to you becoming a franchisor?
Well, I was on furlough because of the lockdowns. And, well, actually, that's not even true. It's like shortly before that happened, I just told my husband that in 5 years I wanted to have a business because it's something I'd always wanted to do. And I decided that I should probably start off small, get something where I had somebody to help me, back me up, give me kind of a business model that works. And so I started learning about franchising. And then I was furloughed, had all this extra time on my hands to do a lot of the research. And so that's when I decided to just take the plunge and go for it. And fortunately, Gymboree decided that I was worth the effort. And so next thing I knew, I had a business in my lap.
That's awesome. So what went from a 5-year plan to a pretty quick plan, based on the economy and the circumstances, right?
Yeah,
So
like 5 months later, yeah.
yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And what made you decide on Gymboree specifically? What was the process? Did you look at other brands, or what led you to buy that specific brand and location?
So there were definitely some other contenders for various reasons. They didn't work out. And when I was trying to think of places to do, my husband actually suggested it because he knew how much I enjoyed spending time here. And I actually used to work for the clothing store, so I loved that aspect of it before. No longer related, but I missed it because I wasn't part of that whole feeling anymore since my kids outgrew the play and music part of it. And I was like, that's a great idea. So I decided to go for it. At the time, there was only one other location. They were also trying to sell, and then this location was trying to sell. I was able to hold on to a little bit more funds with this one. So I decided to play it safe. And so, yeah, that's why I decided on South Lake. It's a beautiful location out here, too, because we've got Grapevine Grapevine Town Square on one side of us and South Lake Town Square on the other side, and a whole lot of shopping, dining, and really nice, diverse people here, too. So
That's great. That's great. Yeah, so you've been in business, coming up on 2 years now, Jessica. What do you feel like's been your biggest challenge since you started, and what are you doing to work on that challenge, or what did you do to overcome it?
Definitely getting the number of memberships that we need to be sustainable. I should say self-sustainable. When I started here, we had 7 active members, and really we need probably close to 300 to be anywhere near profitable.
Oh, wow.
So we recently just, yeah, and we just recently broke 100 members. As of today, I'm about 110 memberships. We've got lots of people coming in and out, but it's getting those people to come, to buy a membership, to stay for a long period of time. And we love seeing those people stay for a long period of time, not just because or I should say, not because they're spending their money with us, but because we're building those relationships. We're seeing their children grow, and especially when they start bringing in second children. Some of the ones that came earlier, I'm starting to see them get pregnant and already having their babies and all that as well. Their second, third children, just depending. But yeah, so that's definitely been the biggest challenge because, especially early on, people wanted to come and socialize, and we had maybe another kid here, and so they would leave because no one was here, so they wouldn't try it again. Well,
Sure.
everybody does that. There's never anybody here. So now that we're starting to get more people, and more people see, oh yeah, socialize, socialize. So starting to get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited.
Yeah, going from 7 to over 100 is a big accomplishment. So congratulations on that. Um, what have you learned that you're really good at? What do you feel like your strength as an entrepreneur and a franchisee? Like, what are the things that you feel like you really excel at in that area?
That's a good question. um, I hope it's my customer service. I think that's always been a strong suit of mine, is working with other people, building that rapport, helping them out, making them as happy as I can while not, you know, breaking any rules or giving in too much and things like that, is trying to find that balance. And so I think I've done a pretty good job of that.
Awesome, awesome. And what are the areas, one or two things where you're not good at it, and you were surprised by it? Like coming into it, you didn't really think that it was going to be a challenge, but it has been for you. What are those things that you're still working to improve on, just as a business owner?
One of the things specifically to this side, I'd say, is just trying to find the best ways to accommodate the customers. Around here, you have scheduling. You don't have a store that's open 9 to 5 and people just come when they want to. We have classes. And so it's trying to find a way to accommodate those customers at a time that works best for them. And that's always changing based on nap schedules and everything else. And of course, what's going on with their lives and whether school's in session or not in session for older siblings. So that's definitely a challenge that didn't cross my mind at the time.
Sure, sure. On that note, Jessica, what are the things you wish you knew in, June or July of 2020 that you know now? Like what if you could go back and talk to yourself then, what would you wish you had a head start on?
Um, so I would say having good training manuals for my upcoming teachers. Not that I don't have them, but it's not the way I'd want it to be. And so I sort of lucked out. I was able to get some former teachers Gymboree teachers, so they were able to just kind of step in, and then they were able to train other people who came in. So I was really lucky on that part. But goodness forbid I were to lose people for one reason or another, trying to train them in a way that is, Gymboree acceptable would be really challenging for me right now. I know that. So that's definitely one thing, is knowing exactly how you want your employees to look and give the service or the product or whatever, and making sure that you have a good training manual to do that.
So I'm sure part of your goals for this year, Jessica, are going to be, continuing to increase that membership base from 100 on pace to that goal for 300. Is that your biggest goal or your biggest focus this year, or is it something else? And, what are the actions you're taking to accomplish those goals?
Yeah, so definitely the memberships, but also right now I'm focusing on our summer camps. We did a Camp Jimbo last summer. That was a lot of fun. We didn't have a whole lot of students. We had a few, and even just with the few, though, we really enjoyed it. So I'm trying to get more in because, of course, the more kids you have, the more enjoyable it is. That, and then also birthday parties. Because like I said, we do have private parties, and we've slowly been getting more and more. But really, a thriving Gymboree probably has at least 1 or 2 parties every single weekend. So I'm just happy right now if I have one every month. But, so I would definitely like to build up that business. And so I'm doing a lot of mailers right now, try and make sure that people in the community know that we are here. And sometimes people will come in and it's like, oh, yeah, I was just walking by and, I've lived here for 10 years. I never knew you were here.
Sure.
But it's like suddenly they just happen to be in that one location to find us.
That's great. Jessica, you mentioned a few times, your focus and your emphasis as a business on customer service. What are the things that you feel like you do really well on that side of it? And, what are the things that maybe you do even better than just the other Gymborees do?
Uh, I try and communicate frequently with my customers, try and keep up with what's going on site, any specials that we may be having as well, and changes that are going on so that they are able to, how was I going to say this? Like, for instance, when we have schedule changes so that they know when to come to classes and when they might not have occurred. But also just email communication. In this day and age, of course, people are constantly emailing. And so I might be just checking my phone messages 11 o'clock at night, and I'll still answer quickly and like, oh, wow, thanks. So it's not always going to happen that way, but when it does, I think they just feel like, yes, I'm there for you no matter what. I don't always recommend that. You don't want to get burned down and stressed, but these are usually simple little things that take a minute to fix, or just like, oh, yeah, here's information about our parties, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it tomorrow, kind of thing. But just letting them know that I did get their message and we are taking care of that. So I always try to make sure, of course, phone messages are checked and responded to quickly, and just making sure that customer accounts are up to date. If they haven't been coming, checking in on them. Hey, you guys okay? Do you need us to pause your membership? What's going on? Making sure that they're still wanting to be here, and then just have a charge going on their card that they forgot about, or that, goodness forbid, something's happened and therefore they can't make it right now. But so like I said, just again, that rapport, just keeping up that.
Sure. Yeah. Customer communication is important. And as business owners, a lot of times we get busy and we forget that. And generally any issues or, hiccups along the way in processes, 99.99% of the time can be solved with doing a really good job at communicating. And, it sounds like you're doing a great job of that. And I'm sure that's why you have 100 members now and not 7, right? So that's great. That's great. Jessica, if I'm going back to just, the customer focus, if I'm living in your area and I have kids and I have a million options to on places to take them or to spend, with them, to spend their time, me to spend my time with them, what's the one or two things that's going to really make the difference to come into your location versus going and doing something else? Like why would I choose your location?
We are a clean location. We try and be as safe as possible with everything that we do, whether it is physical or health related at the moment, especially. We are very caring towards the children. I can't speak towards everybody else, but I know that based on some places, not every place, but some places I've heard things like, oh, it's just, these teenagers who have been hired who don't really pay attention to what's going on. We hire adults who are trained. Sometimes they are actually certified teachers even. And so they know what they're doing. They're not just letting kids run around and do whatever. They're paying attention. And of course the caregivers are there anyway, but they are trained to lead these classes and to help out as needed during open gyms and work with kids in that way. Also, right now with my music classes, while we don't actually teach musical instruments, it's more musical appreciation, genre appreciation, things like that, and then a lot of percussion play. The music teachers I do have are all professionally trained. So you're actually getting expert music teachers in your music classes, which I think really elevates that level in a way that some other places probably don't have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of parents are looking for a place to have their kids experience a lot of different things, but also get exposed to different things. And, they may come to your location and learn their kid is really into music and want to stay with it, right? That's great. That's great. Well, Jessica, we hit our 20-minute mark really quick. It seems like it's gone by fast, but we appreciate you sharing your experience and your passion. And it sounds like, with your focus on customer service, you guys are going to hit that 300 mark in no time. So congratulations on where you are and where you're going. To anyone that took time to listen to our podcast, we really appreciate you taking the 20 minutes with us and hope you join us again next time.